Both these teams undefeated, both looking to find their shooting stroke, and we are ready for action. Malik Ewan jumping center for Florida State, which has the basketball first, to Jameer Watkins.
You saw that first possession there. Malik Ewan has got to play physical through contact, score inside and finish.
Watkins misses a couple. Another one trickles off the rim. Taylor Bowen had a shot. And back we go the other way with Clayton, the former Iona Gale. All three of these veteran Florida guards started their college careers elsewhere. And there is Clayton.
For a team that's shooting 26% behind the three-point line, going to their guy to get them going early. First three there on the year. Again, someone has to step up and help Watkins.
Great move and shift to the left hand by Will Richard. Chandler Jackson. Who says the Seminoles haven't been shooting well?
What's up? He controls the middle of the floor from the three and also in the paint.
The Gators lead the all-time series. Inside to Condon, missed the layup. Good recovery defensively by this typically long and active Florida State defense. First 2 points of the night for Ewan come on a throwdown. Nice feed from the perimeter.
Much time battling on the inside as he is on the perimeter, as right now he's guarding the basketball.
And that's even for last year's National Junior College Player of the Year. He gets taken off the bounce. Their first 2 points for Elijah Martin comes Florida State.
This is the game here. Who rebounds and controls the paint. Both teams want to get out in transition. Just creating on your own. But a guy's got to step up and make one more pass. Let's see how many assists this Seminole team gets tonight.
JT Thomas into the game, brings it back out to Watkins. 10 on the shot clock. And this Florida team will turn you over. They've got the top 2 guys in the SEC in steals. 3.3 through 3 games this season. The follow slam by Sam Alexis. And the Gators retake the lead. He'll head to the line to shoot 2.
See the shot goes up. And there you see Justin Thomas on the back. And Sam Alexis there just catches it and smashes it home there. And come out and get your first game against this Seminole group, as good as they are defensively. But he's 20 years old and he's a really good scoring guard from Slovenia.
And it'll be interesting to see how Coach Golden works him into what is a full backcourt already. Clayton, Richard, and Martin. Are there enough shots to bring Urban into the rotation?
Well, that's what he does right there.
He's not shy. If he hits him from the corner like that, he's going to get minutes.
He comes in with a reputation as a shooter. When you're a top 20 team in the country, you don't need a whole lot of help.
Yeah, Denzel Aberdeen is that other guard. He's on the floor now, 11 in blue. Spotting up from the corner. Off the mark by Jerry Dang, the sophomore from Rochester, New York. And here comes Clayton attacking, and the foul. Sam Alexis had some words. Don Daly stepped in immediately.
This Seminole team is prone to droughts. And they're in one now. You've got to figure out someone else has to step up and help Watkins scoring on this end of the floor.
Well, it's been 3.5 minutes since the Seminoles scored. That takes care of that. The turnaround jumper from the baseline by Alir Malouk, the freshman from Baldwin, Pennsylvania.
And it's by committee. I mean, if the ball moves, this team is really connected. But they've got to get stops and get out in transition.
Gators now have hit 4 shots in a row.
That he knew the shots would eventually start falling.
Off the front rim for A.J. Swinton, the freshman from Cabin John, Maryland. Better job defensively to get out there by Will Richard, blocking the shot. Gators just keep working the basketball around and find the open man, Elijah Martin.
Right now, the Seminoles seem to be, they're not communicating and they're one step slow in their matchups. Spent that entire possession just chasing the Gators.
After having the ball knocked away, Justin Thomas does a nice job. A lot of guys on the bench.
And particularly now, the last 3 years, they've had their share of injuries, but they're healthy now and they'll rotate like that.
Taylor Bowen. Sure that those two guys were okay with Elijah Martin coming to be a Gator.
Yes, on his official visit, those three guys hung out together. And I think it's led to the early chemistry and the fast start by the Gators this season. And a loaded SEC, they'll be right there competing for a title. These guys can stay healthy with the added depth that they have now.
Ewan gets his own miss, attacks Condon again, gets the defender in the air, dumps it off. Bowen is denied. Condon with the block shot, and then the foul comes after.
You don't have to turn your back and spin as much.
Backdoor pass. Work around the perimeter now, Clayton. Good ball movement to find the open man in the corner. Elijah Martin with another three.
Another miscommunication with the Seminoles on defense and left Elijah Martin wide open. And just silly mistakes that the Seminoles are doing, just not communicating. Put a body on a body, but they're so concerned and they don't want to switch a big on a guard, and they're being forced to do so.
Is that the shot the Seminoles wanted right there? Watkins early in the shot clock with the deep three ball, and you give the opposition an opportunity to stretch the lead. Now to 12, Richard from long distance.
A bad shot's just like a turnover when no one's expecting the shot to go up. You can't match up, set your defense, and early mistake here with the Seminoles, and every time they've made a mistake, they've been punished.
Condon again with some big defense. Martin. On the offensive glass, Ruben Chinyelu with his first 2 points.
As they're just physically dominant, and they're imposing their will right now on the Seminoles.
Watkins on the pull-up. 2-point shot just inside the line.
And I think Duke and Alabama are as talented of a rosters as they are in the country. And as those guys get more connected and gain a little bit more experience, look out. You don't feel sorry for the Dukes.
And we would be remiss if we didn't mention that third item. Ryan Kalkbrenner for Creighton came back to Omaha to play for the Blue Jays one final season. He's averaging nearly 30 points per game. And if you didn't catch it, he is 35 of 38 from the field.
Absolutely. That's hard to do if you were just shooting layups.
Yes. On top of the fact that he's as good a defender as there is in the country.
Their physicality is starting to overwhelm the Seminoles there. And everything the scouting report-wise that they worked on, and this is just Will Clayton's heating up. He's dominating the switches. This Seminole team is not accustomed to, they're accustomed to going through scoring droughts. And even though Watkins turns the corner there,
Dang, spotting up. He gets his own miss. Dump it off. Easy to Malik Ewan.
They're having is on this end of the floor. They're not guarding the basketball. They're switching. They're not switching up into the basketball. They're looking at screens. They're just a step slow right now. And the physicality is just wearing them down.
Thomas Houck goes right around Ewan for 2.
And Ewan, that's a big. You got to sit down and guard. You can understand sometimes when these guards attack you off the bounce, but the physicality is in your game. Stand in front of the basketball and the big has got to be a strength.
Ewan gets him right back at the other end. He is a top-flight athlete who has rounded into an all-conference type and perhaps an NBA type of basketball player. We are seeing some of that here in the first half tonight. Watkins end-to-end.
Ball like they're doing now.
Off the Aberdeen miss. Another opportunity. Great fight by the 6'4" senior, Will Richard. Would those be where you would look or somewhere else?
I think it has to be, though, guys. I expect Chandler Jackson to give them something as well. He's an experienced guy. He's been here a couple of years.
End of the line.
He's a closer. You know, you love as a coach to have a point guard that wants the basketball, that makes his free throws late. 3,000-point scores led by Walter Clayton Jr. is going to be a force to be reckoned with.
To speak of on the offensive end, 3 of 9 from distance. Meanwhile, for the Gators, they get beat off the back door, and that's a pretty good way to start the second half. A nice feed.
Some jump shots or set some ball screens and force the guards to force rotation.
Ewan did everything but the finish. Fortunately for him, Watkins cleans it up.
Front the Gators is what they want to do. That weak side defender must come over and help.
Thomas Houck has come into the ball game, runs a little interference, and Clayton takes advantage.
Forger when you give this kind of effort.
Martin turns the corner, tries to shovel it to the big man, who gathers and puts it in.
Great relationship. Those guys hang out together. They're roommates.
I think they call themselves the Bash Brothers, the two of them. There's a 3-ball for Justin Thomas.
Make this a game.
Off the inbound. The defense fell asleep, and it's an easy 2. Out of overtime elite in Atlanta, picked FSU over Georgia Tech. Well, they turned the 15th Florida turnover into points. Now 9 points off of turnovers. The students have come out tonight for this rivalry game here in Tallahassee. Long rebound comes to Houck. Pass knocked away. And the Gators turn it into 2 points.
In this style, just pressing and playing. And you often tell your young guys you're going to make a mistake, make it aggressive.
Well, Alir Malouk made a mistake right there. A big swing there for the Gators. Malouk gets it back out to Thomas with a clean look.
Jameer Watkins sitting over the bench watching with 3 fouls.
Meanwhile, the Gators continue to dominate the glass. They did in the first half. They have grabbed 11 out of the 12 rebounds here in the second half. Aberdeen for 3.
Slip. And the Florida State has been a victim of some of the miscommunication on the defensive end of the floor, giving up shots.
Well, there you go. Davis gets a paint touch and there for Florida State. Condon at the other end finds Alexis, who throws it down. Big answer.
I think this affects some of these teams that we're talking about. It affects the Gators, the Seminoles that are trying to get back into the dance. It affects the Demon Deacons that have struggled to get in. Like it affects these teams that are trying to make runs to get into the NCAA tournament. And Walter Clayton's hand more and let him kind of settle the group down. But this is where Ewan turn and face him and drive it. But this is the issue that Seminoles have. Where do you go for offense? It's no one else to create for someone else. It's just situations like that where you pass to someone and you want them to attack and score.
Aberdeen, tough finish along the baseline.
TV doesn't do this group justice. They're just really, even their guards, their physicality doesn't come from their front line. These guards are big and physical, and all of them are capable of scoring and beating you off the bounce, and it just puts so much pressure on your defense.
Chandler Jackson with the pull-up. Elijah Martin has had a relatively quiet, he's got the ball now, feeds the post. He's had a relatively quiet night tonight. But I heard from multiple people around the Gators program about the physicality that he brought with him. Your slot in around 6, maybe better, maybe worse.
I think they could be better. And let's be clear, the SEC is loaded. I mean, Alabama with their depth, and you know what Tennessee is. And A&M struggled early in Central Florida, but they're really good as well. And Kentucky has shown you with their win over Duke how good and talented they are. So, but no easy games in the end.
St. Francis Academy and then St. John's College High School in Washington, D.C. That's why you're so high on him.
You're just catching on, huh?
Just catching on. Early in the season, I'm rusty.
Yeah, there you go. You know I love my DMV guys.
No doubt. One of my favorite things of last year, you and I were doing a game at Syracuse when the great Dave Bing was there, and I've never seen you turn into a fanboy.
He is.
To go see Dave Bing.
I usually don't tweet about guys, and I put on Twitter like, hey, this is I'm standing next to a true legend.
Yep, DC royalty.
Yes, he is.
Jackson, what a move. Ewan, Holt, Davis, Watkins spotting up. A little too strong off the back iron.
It's a great rebound there by Elijah Martin. You want to see Ewan win that battle.
Martin at the other end misses. Watkins grabs the rebound. Here comes Florida State. Davis doesn't have numbers, but is still able to get to the rim. Missed the shot. Florida with it. Under 6 minutes to play.
Got to get back and match up.
Clayton makes him pay. Alexis with another finish at the rim. We're able to get it down to a 2-possession game. Does Florida State have another push in them? Watkins, tough shot, and a chance for 3.
Time for Watkins to put his cape on. That story sounds similar, and it's really special when you're able to do that. He's struggled from the line at A's.
That's an example Leonard Hamilton set for his own family 50 years ago, being the first to go to college and get his degree, changed the trajectory of many of his other family members. Elijah Martin showing that strength and toughness inside.
His transition here has been easy.
So you're saying Davis has a burst?
He has. He needs to do it. He's the one guy I think that can consistently beat his defender. And I think as the season progresses, I don't know how you take him off the floor. You need someone like that to make the game easy for himself and for others, and there's just not enough players on the offensive end of the floor right now that can do that for the Seminoles. But this end of the floor is where they got to be better. Communicate and guard the basketball.
Martin on Davis for 2. Florida State have one final push, down 10. Jackson leveled. Now to get to the free throw line tonight. Jackson on the year now 6 out of 8.
Pressure off Jackson as a point guard. He gets to be off the ball, and I think more of a natural position to allow him to catch that pass and get downhill. So as you're starting to see here, as we talked about, they're finding it very difficult to take Daquan Davis, the freshman, off the floor. It's under 10 now. This is the time.
This is the closest the Noles have been here in the second half. Clayton, he's been so good tonight. 20 points for the senior from Lake Wales, Florida.
Showing you why he's first team All-SEC.
Whoa, Bill Covington went flying. 1,000 point scores. Clayton, Richard, and Martin. Martin has heated up a bit here in the second half.
The paint, if they're knocking down shots, they're going to be a tough out with this added depth that they have this year.
3 points on a triple for the Gators. Haven't seen him here in the second half. Clayton. Watkins with a head of steam. We've got ourselves a ball game. It's down to 6. Hauk misses the wild shot, and here comes Watkins. Davis. 77-73.
This ability to add something that not many other players can add for this group.
Foul before the inbound. And he is 1 for 2 tonight, 7 for 10 on the year.
Such an added bonus when your bigs make free throws.
Couple of massive free throws for the sophomore from Pennsylvania. Davis probing from the baseline, gets it back out to Jackson. Tough leaner. Second opportunity doesn't go for Ewan.
Expect Walter Clayton here to, this is what they wanted. They wanted to practice a triple switch here, but he's going to pick his matchup. He wants to get Ewan in the ball screen. Great job by Seminoles not switching. That's what you want to see more. Great job by the freshman there.
Now the shot clock at 2. Martin beats the buzzer and banks it in. The Seminoles defensively did everything right, and yet the Gators still expand their lead back to 9. Davis. Good defense by Clayton to get a piece.
Great possession there. not wanting to switch, to stay and guard the ball, and Elijah Martin and his experience and strength banks one home, and then on the other end, Walter Clayton's been doing it on the offensive end. Shows you there he can do it on the defensive end with a huge block.
That might just do it. Todd Golden gave an emphatic Gator chop to the stands after that 3-ball. Made it 85-73. Clayton again able to get all the way to the rim, and he waves goodbye to the student section.
He started the game off and he's finished them off, rightfully so. He's just been outstanding.
He has been the catalyst.
But this was the dagger here. Just a really good possession, and this is why Elijah Martin came here. And this happens. This is a nail in the coffin. But what you see is a Seminoles, again, not communicating on the defensive end. Both guys take the role. The effort's been there for the Seminoles. The communication has caused so many issues. They've got to shore those things up, but it's expected when you got so many new players trying to adjust to the way that Coach Hamilton wants those guys to play.
Davis 1 out of 2. Shot clock is off. Ewan commits the foul. Who's that guy?
What a jump in his game. It took from early last year to the end of the season. He was playing exceptionally well, and coming into this year, it's great to see. He doesn't put any pressure on himself. Still bought in on protecting the rim and rebounding, and his offensive game is still developing. Even there, knowing it's a 1-and-1.
Florida comes on the road and beats its arch rival for the 4th straight time.
Gators showing you why they're a top 20 team.